state your name and what you do?
Sure. I'm Alex Kurtzman. I'm one of the co-creators and writers of Sleepy Hollow.
And I am Len Wiseman, and I am one of the co-creators of Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, thanks.
I think the dark one's fine.
Okay. I'm going to get maybe warm it up.
That'd be great.
Sure thing.
So tell us your concept about the whole idea of it.
Well, the idea was, the initial idea was just a modern take on the legend of Sleepy Hollow. It was something that's never really been presented or approached in a modern context, so that was fascinating to all of us. And then when we came to the idea of blending that legend and story with Revelations, and this seemed crazy, but just can it possibly work? And that was where it all started. And can we put these things together and have something really compelling?
You could talk about the effects on the show, because I know in Underworld you tried to use a lot of practical effects. So there's a mix here, and like, which do you prefer, and what do you find using more?
I mean, I absolutely prefer practical effects, and actually, TV lends itself to practical effects due to its schedule and time. It's a bit of a double-edged sword, but we try to. You don't really have time for elaborate visual effects. You don't have a load of time for practical, but if you plan ahead, it's the perfect platform for practical. And it's one of the things that, I mean, Alex and I both are fans of. Like movies that we grew up on. To be able to have an actual, if you have a creature on the episode, if it actually really is a creature, like whether it's Hellraiser or Pumpkinhead or these, it's I think there's just a more of a connection to it, and I miss that. You don't see that on television a lot.
What's been the biggest surprise so far since this is, open premiered? I was surprised that it struck a chord with so many female viewers, but what's been the biggest surprise for you so far?
Well, it's funny because I think that when the show started, one of the questions that we kept getting asked was, God, there's a lot here. There's apocalypse mythology, biblical mythology, covens, demons. Is it a procedural? Like, how do all these things fit together? And we had a pretty strong instinct that there was a really organic way to do that, as long as every story was rooted in something very emotional, and ultimately Abby and Crane were the anchor of the show. And I think that one of the things that's been so gratifying is that what I think might have been confusing to people has actually been embraced by people. People seem to really like how expansive the world is, and that just makes us feel great and gives us license to just keep opening those doors, as long as it's always grounded in some kind of real emotional idea. I mean, Sandman is a good example, because Sandman could have been just a demon of the week, but Sandman was literally a manifestation of Abby's past and of something of her guilt and something she hadn't dealt with. So we really try and take the approach with our monsters of not just having them be sort of random monsters, but actually echo something very important in our characters and what they're going through.
Is there any monster coming up that you could tease that you're particularly proud of?
There are many, actually. There are many. And that's been the fun of it, is sort of figuring out how to take the different characters and mix and match the different characters, and then take a monster and say, what is that monster a manifestation of in this person? Or what does it challenge them in some way?
And there's also one of our demons that you see right now. You don't see him that well, and he's blurred. That over the course of the series, as our characters get more, I guess their senses get stronger, we'll be able to see that guy clearer, and so you get to reveal a little bit of him. I mean, we have our version of a scarecrow coming up in terms of another twist on a classic character that ties into our mythology in a way that you've never seen before.
We have a version of a golem coming up, which is a character that has existed in a bunch of different mythologies. And the fun part is that we plan with enough advance warning that we can build these designs in a way that's really cool, and we're not throwing them together at the last minute.
The question about your approach to the show. I know some shows people find out the end game and kind of work backwards. Sometimes that kind of shape.
Well, it's interesting because Fox was very vigilant about making sure that we had a big plan. And it was really to their credit and to our credit, because they really wouldn't give us a green light to series until they knew where we were going. And Kevin Riley said, I want the three major pillars of season one and what you're setting up for season two. you don't have to give me every detail, but you have to tell me kind of where it's going. And it really forced us to sit down and come up with a real plan. And what's been great for us in the writing room is that knowing where we're going, we can be seeding these things along the way very, very deliberately, and it's not until the end of the season that you realize what you were being set up for and told about. So it's great for us because it gives us a real compass.
I couldn't hear.
The 7 years of tribulation. You obviously have plans for that. Is that like a Bible for the series, or are you that setting up for how the direction of the series?
So the answer is yes, and the idea was that kind of going through our mythology and looking at the Bible, the idea that there was a 7-year period of tribulation and the two witnesses that be chosen to determine the fate of humanity. Think of it as a scale wherein if Abby and Ukraine succeed, then the scale is tipped toward good, but if they fail, it's tipped toward evil, and at the end of 7 years, which is going to weigh out, and that's going to determine the outcome of us.
Are the townspeople ever going to become more aware of all the supernatural?
Very much so.
Yes.
We are right in the middle of that right now.
It's something that Irving is trying to contain, and you can only contain it for so long. And we actually have a lot of fun with how it starts to spread, the control of it, how we try to keep it under wraps. I feel like it's as relevant as you can get, I think, for something like this. It's a mix of a lot of different genres, and it's got everything from the mythology to a kind of its own twisted sort of time travel aspect to it, a creature aspect, horror, fantasy. It has a lot of things that I think are sort of the core of what Comic-Con is all about, at least to me, when I've been coming for many years.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.